Ms. Golson, are we ready? I'd like to call the meeting to order, please.
Madam Chair, I move that we turn to open session, adopt certification of closed session.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed?
Certification of closed session. Whereas the Dinwiddie County School Board has convened a closed session on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote and in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and whereas paragraph 2.2-3712 of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by the school board that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law. Now therefore be it resolved that the Dinwiddie County School Board hereby certifies that, to the best of each member's knowledge, only such business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered by the school board. Jay Sneff, District 1.
I certify.
Betty Haney, District 2.
I certify.
Barbara Pittman, District 3.
I certify.
Maria Benjamin, District 4.
I certify.
Shirley Merritt, District 5.
I certify.
Madam Chair, all certified.
Thank you. At this time, would you please stand and participate in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, and you may be seated. Are there any amendments to the agenda, Ms. Golson?
None at this time.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I move that we adopt the agenda as presented.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion does carry. And from the closed session report, the personnel list.
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the recommendation of administration and readmit student number R-09.
Personnel list.
Oh.
It's okay. You were way ahead of us.
I am. Madam Chair, I move that we accept the personnel list as presented.
Personnel list. I need a second.
Second.
We have a motion to accept the personnel list. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Are there any opposed? The motion does carry. Now we have student matters.
Okay. Madam Chair, I move that we accept the recommendation of administration and readmit student number R-9/23-2.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? That motion carries.
Okay. Madam Chair, I move that we uphold the recommendation of the administration and not reconsider readmission of student number R-09/23-2 until June of 2024.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? That motion carries.
Ms. Pittman,
Yes.
we need to go back. Ms. Benjamin said R-09/23-2 for the first one, and it should be -1.
1.
Okay, let's redo that motion.
Do I need to redo the motion?
Yes, ma'am.
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the recommendation of administration and readmit student number R-9/2023-1.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for R-09/23-1. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? The motion carries.
Okay, now one more.
Yes.
Okay, Madam Chair, I move that we honor the parents' request and release student number REL-09/23-1 from compulsory school attendance on basis of religious exemption.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Okay, let's see. Student representatives.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Before we have our student representatives recognized, I wanted to bring to the attention of the board that we have two important events coming up. And the first one is this Friday, September 15th, is Go Gold for Kids Cancer. And we will be wearing gold. We hope that the county will support us as well. And this will help to support our initiative to combat childhood cancer. And so we do have several students within our school system that are affected by childhood cancer, and we would like to show our support in their journey as well. And so we do have an initiative with fundraiser from each school. They have a dollar amount that they have pledged and would like support as well. And then we would like the county to come out to the football game on Friday wearing gold and throughout the day as well. The second event will be the Lead Well Summit, which will take place on Saturday, October 21st. At 8:30 a.m. at Dinwiddie High School. And this is a partnership between Dinwiddie County and Dinwiddie County Public Schools. Okay. We are so excited to have our two student representatives. First, I want to introduce our returning representative, and that is Jonathan Machado Aguilar. Correct? He is a senior at Dinwiddie High School. He is the son of Lorena Aguilar Solano and Oscar Machado Trujillo. I did good, yes. He currently is taking dual enrollment statistics, dual enrollment music appreciation, AP psychology, and dual enrollment biology. He participates with varsity soccer. He volunteers with the youth soccer team at Dinwiddie Parks and Recreation. And last week, Jonathan represented Dinwiddie County Public Schools by participating in the Virginia School Board Association, also known as VSBA, Student Representative Podcast. Jonathan is excited about his senior year and being able to assist with the change which will benefit all of our Dinwiddie County Public School students. Jonathan, okay? Our newest member is no stranger to us at the school board office, but it is none other than Imani McLaughlin. Imani is an 11th grade student at Dinwiddie High School. She is the daughter of Mrs. Bernita McLaughlin and the late Reverend Dr. Victor McLaughlin. She currently serves as DECA president. This is her second term. She also is a newly crowned member of Cultural Pearls program. She has participated in the basketball cheer, middle school football cheer as well, and served as the middle school assistant coach for that program. Imani is excited to begin this year as a student rep because she feels her leadership roles has allowed her to be well-spoken, a team worker, problem solver, organizer, creative thinker, and a healthy communicator. Imani. All right. Next up, we have recognitions of our gifted program. Ready, Ms. Bonner? We have photos too. All right. The students in the 8th grade completed the Service Learning Project City Planning in the 21st Century. I'll have the gifted program to please come forward if you would mind. I do have a little bit of write-up, but if you would come forward.
And Miss Masseville.
And Miss Masseville?
Yes, of course.
Oh.
Well, she needs to introduce the kids.
Okay.
You have to come.
Miss Masseville.
You have to come.
You can come around. We're not going to bite. All right. The project kicked off with a visit from the County Administrator, Kevin Massagill, and Deputy County Administrator, Tammy Collins, to discuss Dinwiddie County and city planning in general. The city planning project is the result of a collaboration between the Dinwiddie County government and Dinwiddie County Public Schools. The purpose of the project is to provide students with an opportunity for long-term research and investigation as they respond to complex challenges. Students must exercise critical thinking skills and creativity as they design and they construct a model city, and you've seen a few pictures up there. The project begins and ends with the support of the county administrator, deputy county administrator, and the director of planning. The students spend the year researching and designing their city, and then they present their model to a panel of judges at the end of the school year. The program is designed to spark a student's interest in planning or local government administration. This year, or this past school year, the Dinwiddie County Public Schools Gifted and Talented Education City Planning Project earned the county a National Achievement Award from the National Association of Counties. Ms. Massengill, would you please introduce the members as well?
Sure.
All
We
right.
have quite a few missing, but this is Gracie Hayes and Cora Wolfick, Ava Davis, Chase Massengill, Charlotte Barnes, and Joel East.
All right, congratulations. All right, would you like to say anything? Okay. All right, we congratulate you on your award, and I will be taking pictures shortly, okay? All right, that is it. You're welcome. That is it of our recognitions.
Ms. Pittman, we do have one more recognition, and that is we're going to have Mr. Brian Pittman, who is the program administrator for Encompass Learning Center. He's going to come out and share some information with us about Encompass.
All right. Came out the box.
Yes, he did.
Had to make sure the cameras are right. So Encompass is formerly Pathways Educational Center. In 2016, just a little bit of background about the program. In 2016-17, Pathways was founded or opened. And since then, over 40 students have graduated with a standard diploma while attending the program. Several students have transitioned back to their home school, while some finished their courses at the Learning Center. In 2020, the ISAP and GED program was relocated to the Educational Center, and since then, 9 students have completed their GED requirements in the last 2 years, and several have passed at least 2 or more of the 4 required tests. And I'm just going to highlight, we had a student testimonial, but it wasn't pulling up, so I'll have to share that some other time. Some of the things that we've done in the past, students, we did some work on creating a little bit different looking space. We built some gardens and some raised beds. Students took a lot of pride in that. What we didn't realize, though, is that when the fruits come in, the school's out by then. So, build up all this, the gardens, but they took a lot of pride in the garden. That some of the harvest, some of it did come in before they left. But so we're going to try to do some other types of fruits and vegetables that will come in while they're in school. Some of the other activities that we've done, this was actually more or less a supply and demand thing. We built some custom cornhole boards for staff members and students. And we also participated in some entrepreneurial activities, did some t-shirt printing, and then we did a lot of the videos for various county projects, the Dinwiddie Difference, the Lead Well Summit, and several other events that were happening in the county that the students assisted on editing and producing that. Of course, we try to have a little fun. We had some classroom gatherings. I think one of those is a picture from, we had Thanksgiving together and invited some guests. And try to have some student-centered activities. We had a pumpkin carving contest, and we had some, can't read that. Dr. Weston, that's something you posted some time ago. It was a Great American Race thing that we did. And we also assisted the Appomattox River and Soil and Water. They contacted us about having some students help create the soil runoff, water runoff boxes, not soil runoff, apologize. Some of our students assisted in that with helping create those. So this is just some of the extra things other than the learning. And a little bit of background information about the program. This year, the RISE program was revamped to bring back more of an alternative program. Students in that program receive 12 hours of in-person educational assistance per week, and that occurs after school hours, Monday through Thursday from 3 to 6 at the Encompass Learning Center. The Encompass program provides a different setting for DCPS students for a variety of reasons. Some students will come that are behind a year or more in their educational cohort, and we assist them in trying to catch up and graduate on time. Students may have a variety of other things that they just need a different educational center to be a part of. And students that sometimes are out for long periods of time and are frequently on homebound, this center allows them to be able to catch up with their work and work in the online learning environment. And we're excited. This year, our space received a makeover. And didn't point out that the Encompass Center is located in the historic Southside High School, which is on Route 1. It's where I went to middle school. So this summer, we got a little makeover. So we have some nice fresh paint on the walls, carpeted floors. And this is some of the newer furniture, which the kids were really, really excited about our alternative seating. So if the desks get away from, they can take their Chromebooks and sit in some of the alternative seating assignments. So we're really excited about that. And that is all.
Thank you.
Any
Any
questions?
questions from the board about the program or?
I don't have any questions. Thank you for bringing that the report, because I like to know, the numbers of what the students are doing, because sometimes people say, the students are not doing anything because of maybe the reason they are there, but they're doing some wonderful things, and so thank you so much for bringing that. Making it fresh in my mind that they are graduating from the program. They're actually doing great things there.
Yes,
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're now at the consent agenda, expenditure reports.
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the expenditure reports as received.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. And minutes,
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the minutes of August 8, 2023, and August 22, 2023, as presented.
Second.
we have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Would you like us to take a pause so that these students could leave, or do you think they would just love to stay and hear the rest of this business?
Pause.
A pause? We will take a pause. Thank you guys for coming. Appreciate
Thank you.
your input.
Congratulations.
And we are now looking at board matters and policies.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm coming back this month with the, asking for the acceptance of the leave without pay policy that I presented as a first read last month. The basic changes were we updated the first paragraph to make it more readable, and then we added in basically a 60-day term that people can have for that unpaid leave, which is similar to what they would have if they were eligible for FMLA.
Okay. Are there any questions anybody needs to ask about that policy? I'm glad we have that, shored that up so it's specific. So it doesn't happen very often, but we need to be ready if it does happen. So I do need a motion for that.
Madam
Chair, I move that we approve the policy GCBEA, leave without pay.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? The motion carries, and thank you.
Thank you.
Technology plan. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Today we are here seeking approval of the Dinwiddie County Public Schools 2023 to 2028 Technology Plan. This plan represents the collective contributions of the members of the Technology Plan Committee and is directly aligned with the school division's strategic goals. The technology plan is divided into 4 domains with each focusing on a goal. And each goal includes an anticipated results, indicators, and action steps. And the 4 domains are learning, teaching, leadership, and infrastructure. The goal of the learning domain is to promote and support meaningful and relevant learning experiences for students that allow them to demonstrate workplace readiness and contribute to a sustainable community. The anticipated results for this goal are to create a learning environment where teachers and students engage in exploratory and creative learning experiences while connecting the curriculum to the 5 C's. Additionally, it includes customizing resources to individual student needs and promoting ethical, technology-driven collaboration, all within a framework that contributes or integrates digital literacy across the curriculum and encourages real-world experiences and applications. The teaching goal promotes technology-based resources that empower educators to utilize innovative strategies to support student learning that increases the quality of education for all students. And the anticipated result is instructional staff will embrace innovative instructional planning techniques that inspire students to apply their meaningful learning in real-world applications.
All right. Greetings, everyone. The leadership goals will create a transformational, equitable, technology-rich environment through innovative leadership practices by immersing students in a challenging, personalized learning curriculum. And the specific results is education leadership will develop a vision of teaching and learning that includes the appropriate innovative of technology and creating a shared vision of the building of 21st century skills and resources and supporting learning, teaching, and assessing. Infrastructure goals, and you all know about all that infrastructure, all that fiber and all that equipment, switches and all that stuff's always got to be upgraded to keep up with the newer technology so we can support it and be able to run the latest programs. And this is provided a robust, secure, networks got to be secure. We're going to protect people from hacking. Schools are the number 2 most hacked things out now. Banks are number 1, as you might expect. Schools are number 2 because people trying to get to that student information data and things like that. So we got to protect it. And comprehensive infrastructure to support a culture of technology, integration, and innovation throughout the school division. So this is we need all these things in order to make the plan successful and make our students successful and for the future.
And the 2023-2028 technology plan will be posted on the division's website.
Yes.
And I guess unless any questions?
Any questions, anyone?
Nope.
I would just like to say thank you to Ms. Spires and to Mr. Ampey because we had kind of waited for VDOE to provide some guidance, which they have not provided yet. So they went ahead and put the team together and put this nice plan together for us. So we would be a step ahead. So thank you all for your leadership of that team. And you all have a copy of the whole plan in front of you.
Thank you both. Do we need to?
Oh, it needs to be
Yes, you need to prove, yeah, you can't leave
Needs to be
yet.
approved. Thank you.
We need a motion to approve the new technology plan.
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the technology plan 2023, 2028 coming from the technology team.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? And that motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Ms. Golson, is there any new business? Any new business from anybody on the board? No. Superintendent matters, financial update. Ms. Fleming? We need to sound the horns. We now have a state budget.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We'll talk about the budget update first then. Good afternoon to everyone, board members. We do finally have a state budget. As of earlier today, I do not believe the governor has signed it yet. However, all indications are that he will do so. Right now, what we're being told is we are going to receive an estimated $2.9 million in additional funding. We have to wait for all the details, but what the state approved was it does include a 2% salary increase, which would be effective January the 1st of 2024. Additional funding for support staff, 24 support staff for every 1,000 students, which we already employ. We already meet that standard, so that would help us. With additional funding to support that. And then a flexible per pupil funding. This is going to be one-time funding. We are encouraged to use it for learning loss recovery and preparation for implementing the Virginia Literacy Act that's coming soon. DOE is also launching something called All in Virginia Plan, which we have not gotten all the details on this as well. However, what we're being told is it's going to include some tutoring, some help with chronic or it wants to target chronic absenteeism, and the Virginia Literacy Act as well. The devil is in the details with a lot of this, which we don't have as of yet. So we're hoping to receive this soon. We're eagerly awaiting that. We don't know exactly, if this money, we do know, I did read that we will be required to report on how the use of the per pupil spending is going to be used. So we will have to report that. And the one-time funding, of course, going to support those efforts, tutoring and absenteeism, anything we put into place, we're either going to have to sustain it or it, needs to be one-time funding. So hopefully this will help in a time where, some of our CARES money all of our CARES money is leaving us. So we're excited. Hope to get more details on that. And of course, we'll be talking about it more in the weeks to come as we're going to have to amend our budget as well. Do you have any questions about it specifically?
No, we were just talking earlier about the fact that we were somewhat concerned. We're excited to get another 2%, but we're somewhat concerned about sustaining.
Right.
We added, that means we have to be able to produce it next year, and they may or may not.
Well, it's $240,000, I believe, that we would receive for the 2%. Yes, $240,240. That does get rolled in to the re-benchmarking process is what the state refers to it. When they look at, okay, we gave you this much this year, so we're gonna, we got to look at what that looks like for the going forward. It should roll into that, so we would
it should be just sustained then.
right. The question on this is going to be, are they only going to sustain it at, because it's effective January the 1st.
Right.
So how does that roll in and get played out for a whole year? I would assume that it would count for the whole year. That when they do the re-benchmarking, they're going to look at it as a 2% for the whole year. But we don't know that yet. So
And then also the non-SOQ.
yeah, I was just getting ready to say that, Dr. Weston. This is only on the SOQ positions.
Right.
It's not on the SOQ. And of course, we have a lot
And
of
it's
those.
only on teaching positions.
No, it's on
No,
all
it could be
SOQ, standards of quality. So, like, for example, a principal in a school is a SOQ position because we qualify. That's a requirement. But we have, I use this example a lot, we have 18 kindergarten teachers. And we qualify for 15. So the additional 3, we'll get the funding for the state share of those 15, but we're not going to get anything for the 3 that we employ above and beyond what the standards of quality, require. So we are working on the cost for all of this, and we'll have it probably at our board advance
26.
on the 26th, for discussion. So just a little bit. Talking to our regional finance group, people are kind of all over the place about what they're going to do. A lot of them, will need additional support in order to be able to provide it. So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out coming up. So anyway, any
Other questions?
Okay. All right. So I also want to talk a little bit about enrollment. So our enrollment as of today, or our average daily membership as of today, is actually 4,085 students. So our budget was built on 4,100 students. So we're about 15 under budget. This has improved since the beginning of the school year. We do still have 13 no-shows. 2 of them are 18, so we're anticipating we may not see them. 2 of them are runaways, unfortunately, and the rest they're working on tracking them down to see where, if they've gone to another school division or where they are. We've also had 18 withdrawals since the first day of school, so they showed up and then they have withdrawn since then. But we did have 240 students transfer out between August the 1st and August the 23rd. The days when school started, the 21st. So, we did lose, a few students over the summer, but we're still doing good. So I feel comfortable with this number right now. We may have to make some adjustments to the budget when we talk, as this additional money comes in and we look forward, but we're doing okay. Do you have any questions about
I
enrollment?
know that our homeschool numbers are over 300.
Yeah.
It's never been that high.
Right. Tends to be in that lower grades.
Yeah. Yeah, we can probably provide you with more information on where some of these went. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sick leave bank regulations.
I think the next one is the operations update.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was the
Yeah.
operations update. Operations, Jeff?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Today I wanted to come to you and talk to you a little bit about some updates with some of the things we got going in the operations department. Yesterday, about midday, I shared some notes with you that so you can follow along, because I know it's a lot of information. The school system, we contracted with MGT Consulting and Davis Demographics to conduct an enrollment study. And basically what this is going to do is assess the forecasted change in our student population. It'll give us a comprehensive report that allows us to adjust our present day enrollment circumstances and in our county population, because our county is going to change dramatically over the next 5 years or so with some of the building developments that we have going on. MGT has used a ton of data that we've been collecting for them over the last really month or longer to get for them, and it's been very helpful to have the accountability department and Miss Rainey has been getting a lot of that information for me from Infinite Campus. But they use stuff like our student data for the last 4 years from 2019 to 2023, kindergarten enrollment for the last 12 years. They also went to the county and got information about housing development starts, about occupancy permits and things like that. So it's a very in-depth study that I hope is going to be very useful to us as we go forward and to forecast our population so we can adjust as a school system. The transportation department has been working hard to get the implementation of Traversa Ride 360 going. And this is a platform that allows parents to access to some routing enhancements that they have. We've tried that. We've done this in the past. We did like a trial run, and we're now at the point where we're ready to. We have the information. We have it trained. We're trained on it. We're ready to do a soft opening so that we can get all the problems and deficiencies out that we can then do a full rollout for it. Some real cool things about this is it allows parents to access real-time bus information. It allows them to see the route. It allows them to see if the bus had to leave the route due to an accident or was rerouted or something like that. It gives them an alert when it comes back onto the route. It allows them to a secure student link. Each parent is going to be able to link with their student, and then they're going to be able to share that information with other people. If maybe the mother and father aren't together, they can share the information amongst each other. They can both watch the route depending on whose house they're going to. So our soft launch, we want to try to do our soft launch next week, and we're going to use the Dinwiddie County school employees whose children ride the buses as a soft launch. Easy to access, easy information, easy to contact to get information about things that aren't working and are working that they like. And then hoping to do a full rollout at the end of September or early October. So I think I'm really excited about that. To be completely transparent, the one thing that does concern me is the internet access and the cell phone service, because it's going to drive, whether you have success with this program or not. But I think that we have enough coverage in our county that most people are going to benefit from this program. So I guess I should have asked, did y'all have questions about the enrollment study? I'm sorry.
What, do the children get on the bus and they swipe
Yes,
the
ma'am.
badge?
Yes, ma'am. We've installed tablets on each bus. So a child gets on, they swipe it, it shows that they're on the bus, it shows who they are, it shows a picture of them, and when they get off, they swipe it off. So it actually creates a real-time manifest as they get on and as they get off.
And they get the badge from the school?
From the school system, yes, ma'am.
Have they already been given out?
A lot of our students have badges. We did order some new badges. The Commonwealth of Virginia came out with a rule about suicide prevention and self-harm that you had to put on ID badges. So we have added that to our badges and ordered 2,000 more. And as we replace badges and give kids new badges, they'll all have that on there. But the old badges will still work also.
Is this a revamp of the system we had, or is this?
It is. The Traversa Ride 360, or Traversa, is the upgraded of the Tyler Technologies trip tracker. And that's why we had to do more training, because that's a totally different system. The Ride 360 is very similar to what we did originally, but we had to do the inside of routing and all those things. We had to learn that again because it was new information.
And all our drivers been trained, because I know that was an issue before.
They have. We have trained drivers as we've gone, but we also are going to take 3 or 4 days and meet these drivers in the field at their elementary schools when they drop off, where they have a little bit of time, and give them that training on the bus right there where they'll be using it. So, yeah, I know that was important. What we don't want is drivers to get frustrated, and because, you got to drive the kids. If the computer's not working, I still got to drive the kids. So we don't want that to happen. We want them to be fluent with it. We have a lot of people trained, myself included. So anybody who they call really can say, hey, let me help you. Let me get you some assistance and work you through this. So, yeah, that was a good point, that we did need to do more training with the drivers.
My understanding is the other thing with this system is that even if you're in a place that doesn't have good connectivity, that they can still log in, and then when the bus gets to a place where, because sometimes my
Picks it
cell
back
phone
up.
goes
Yeah.
out, but it catches up to it, it'll do the same thing.
It timestamps.
It's timestamps
Yeah.
it to when they actually signed in.
Yeah. And the only downfall to that is if they're coming to my house and I show that the bus is 15 minutes away, they lose cell service and then bam, it's at my house. But I don't know that there's anything we can do with the cell coverage on that, and that's going to be few and far between. There are some areas, but hopefully most areas have enough to sustain. So.
If the child doesn't have the badge,
Yes, ma'am. They can punch their school number in, or the bus driver can look them up. If the child gets on the bus without the badge, I'm assuming you're saying?
yes.
And then what we're going to ask bus drivers to do is keep a list so that they can let the administrator know when they get there. This child doesn't have their badge, contact mom. Oh, yeah, he left it at home on the desk. We'll bring it tomorrow. Or he lost it. We can make him a new one.
So are we encouraging them to all maybe have them on their book bags or something?
We are. With the elementary schools, they'll clip them on the book bags, a lot of them. With the, of course, middle school, high school, we're encouraging them to carry them as their student ID because we're eventually trying to get it to where this ID is everything. It's your lunch, it's your, your entrance into school. Whatever you need an ID for, we're encouraging them to use that. It's just we don't want to try to put all these technological pieces together at one time. So yes, we are encouraging them to keep them with them. And to be honest, middle school kids have a hard time with it, just that age, so we do replace a lot at the middle school. We've anticipated that. But also a lot less of them ride the bus than elementary, so that kind of helps us too. Any other questions on Traversa? Okay. I like to always talk about school security. I know it's on everybody's mind, and I wanted to make sure that I gave you a good brief on exactly what's going on in our schools, because there's a lot going on behind the scenes for our security of our schools. Hopefully today the board approved our latest armed security officer that we did hire. I'm really excited about this. He has a lot. I don't want to steal the thunder of the introduction and everything, but he's got a lot of good experience, and I think he's going to be a great addition to our school system. He is going to be armed. And we are now going to be 2 of only 14 armed school security officers in the state of Virginia. So, we make up the lion's share, 1/7 of them. So it's pretty impressive, I think. We also formed a division safety committee, and that division safety committee is going to review each school safety audit. We actually asked each committee member to go through the school safety audit done by the principal and find the vulnerabilities and find the areas that need improvement. And then we're going to meet back together and we're going to come up with a school division safety plan. And then once I get that safety plan, I'm going to present that to you at a board meeting here soon, hopefully in the next 2 months. But we wanted to make sure that we had a really solid division safety plan that addressed all of our schools and all of our vulnerabilities. As you know, we continue to apply for and hopefully receive the school equipment grant, security grant. We did put in the security vestibule at Dinwiddie Elementary School, and we did all the interior key card locks, and I think we finally got everybody access to all the rooms. There's a lot of people that need access to rooms, but Elite Contracting's been working with that, and they've done a great job of getting people access as they didn't have it. And as you know, that's the #1 security feature in a school is locking the doors. This year, we did apply for the grant again, and we're going to try to do the same thing at Midway Elementary, which is a bit vulnerable because the office is in the middle of the school, so having locked doors helps. And also, we're going to try to replace all the old style panic bars. I don't know if you've seen them. They're a bar that protrudes from the door where somebody can come in and chain them and keep people in a bad situation. So trying to replace all those to the new style panic bars where they can't be chained together. So that's a safety feature. And Christy told me not too long ago that we're hopeful that the new budget also includes some other opportunities for security grants. So if it does, we certainly will be applying for that. And we have some ideas of some things that we want to add to our school system that are a little more mobile and give us a little more flexibility with our security at events. So any questions about school security? Okay. We also have, I'm sorry.
I just like what you're doing. So much happens. I guess we listen to too much what's going on outside. But the safety team that you have put together, and I like you taking like a proactive toward safety.
Yes, ma'am.
Because we don't want to wait until something happens. Then here we go running out trying to do that. But I really appreciate what the team is doing to keep our children safe.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I'm sure when parents send them out in the morning, there's a little something that goes on in the heart,
Sure.
in the chest. So thank you, team. Thank you, team.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of work done with the schools.
I can
It's a lot of different departments are working towards that. So, school safety, we also address school safety, and this applies to we have stuff going on in our schools that's advanced level stuff. We have a lot of smart kids, and we have to try to challenge them each day. And that includes in the science classroom and the CT classroom and all these things. But with that comes the need for safety. So we developed a division safety guide about 1.5 years ago, and we've been enforcing that. And we've been changing it. It's been very neat to see teachers email and say, hey, well, did you think about this or did you think about that? And we go back and look at it, and it's a good point. So it's kind of, they've taken a little bit of ownership of that guide. They do sign saying they've received it each year, and we also have implemented fire extinguisher training for all of our secondary science and CTE because they have the most chance of encountering a fire. And we did talk about the fire safety and fire extinguisher training. We also had our science teachers complete the Flynn science safety course, which is a 4-hour course, and they recertify every 3 years. And I'm proud to say, as of today, every science teacher is fully Flynn certified. So, yeah. So those are some things going on with school safety. Any questions about that? It's a lot of information I told you. I'm almost done, I promise. The next thing is emergency management. We've had some minor incidents that have exposed some things that we need to work on with emergency management. So we've been very fortunate in that it's been a minor incident, but it's kept us the ability to continue to get better without having to, like you said, having something bad happen, then we react to it. We'd rather be proactive. The school administrators, we talked about at IDCPS this summer, we talked about working on the operational continuum of emergency training. And what it basically is as you move on the emergency training, you build on it each time. And we'll talk about each one of those. But the first thing is the seminar. You're sitting around the table, you're talking about that. We got all the administrators in a room at IDCPS, and we just talked about emergency training and what to do in certain situations, things you got to think about in all situations, because not every situation is the same. Sometimes you have to shelter in place. Sometimes you have to get out of the building. So we're also going to implement one afternoon a month from September through December. We're going to get together, get all the administrators around the table, and we're going to do tabletop exercises where we discuss how to handle certain situations, and we take our time. We're very calculated about it, and we talk about the benefits of things, the decisions they make, and the negatives. Hey, if you decide this could happen. So it gives them the opportunity to work through that together. And then we're going to ramp it up a little bit, and we're going to start putting timers on. This happened, click a timer, what are you going to do? And move on, because things are going to move fast in a real exercise. So that's a functional exercise that, you give the stress of time on that. As you can imagine, our schools are all doing a great job. Every school's done 2 fire drills already, and a lot of our schools have already done a lockdown drill also. So they're constantly drilling in the schools, and we're encouraging them to add pitfalls, add barriers where these teachers have to empower these teachers to make decisions on the fly, which a lot of them have done. They'll put fire on a cardboard and put it in front of a door during the fire drill, and they have to go a different route, which is important because that's very realistic and very probable in a fire. So we talk about that a lot, about empowering teachers to make decisions without having to call the principal first. Sometimes you just got to make a decision. So those are some things we're working on with emergency management. Does you may have any questions on that? Okay. This next one I was really excited about, and I wrote a lot about it. I won't talk a lot about it, but it's the one that I'm really excited about. We brought back the DARE program to our school system. And when I first heard that, when I was talking to then SRO Dooley, we were talking about the DARE, and I said, man, that's kind of like back in the day when they brought out all the stuff and they showed scared you and they're not doing drugs. And he had to set me straight. They have stopped. DARE did not have a lot of success with that program. What they decided was they wanted to take a pause, do some research, do some studies, and use data to redevelop the DARE program, and they did that. And in 2009, they were able to reestablish the DARE program, and it's cool. Obviously, DARE stands for Drug Abuse Resistance Education, and it is a police officer-led series, and they go into the classrooms and they teach. They do 10 one-hour weekly sessions over approximately 6 months, depending on how the schedule works at the school. Currently, we have 3 of our SROs that are DARE certified. Officer Eichler at Sunnyside Elementary, Officer Kincaid at Dinwood Elementary, and Officer McCall at Midway. And what they're going to do is they're going to split up the elementary schools and the middle schools so that all of our 5th and 8th graders get DARE training. The Sheriff's Department also has the goal of sending the rest of the SROs in November to get DARE trained. So we'll have a DARE trained school resource officer at every school, which is, I think it's really cool. The new the new DARE motto is keeping it real, and this program was adopted, as I said, in 2009. And it focuses more on good decision making and healthy lifestyle choices. The elementary is taught to fifth graders, and the fifth graders, it's a multicultural, developmentally appropriate lesson that focuses on practicing skills to be safe. So it's teaching them how to be safe, not necessarily to, about drugs and things like that. They just need to know how to make good decisions and be safe at that age. And then in the middle school, the DARE program focuses on the acronym REAL, which is refuse, explain, avoid, and leave. And we've all been in middle school, and we know that sometimes you're faced with situations that you don't know how to get out of. That's what it focuses on. How do you say no? How do you get yourself away from that situation? So I'm really excited about it because I think kids need to learn to think like that. They need to learn to make decisions for themselves. But sometimes they need that push towards why you're making this decision the way you're making it. And that's what this program is doing a really good job of. So I know, Mr. Sneff, I know you're DARE certified, correct? So he knows, it's a totally different program than when I was in school. So any questions about the DARE program?
No, I'm certainly glad that it's returned. That good decision-making is absolutely at the crux of what we need to do for our kids. And having a way to be able to say no, some options.
Yeah.
So we would all at our age just say no, but a seventh grader, that's different.
Much different, yeah. And of course, I've raised two children, and I've seen them not say no in silly situations. They don't make good decisions, so they need help. They need help making good decisions. So, the last thing I want to talk about a little bit is the facilities. We did have a backup generator. It's finally installed. It's finally online. We had a couple hiccups, but we got it straight now. And that's important because when the power at Dinwiddie Middle School goes out, the internet does not go out anymore, which is very important. And if you talk to anybody in the school system, everybody knows when the middle school's power goes out because all the internet goes down. Well, that's not happening anymore thanks to this generator. So we're really happy about that. We installed 3 new chillers at Dinwiddie Elementary, Dinwiddie Middle School, and Midway Elementary. So hopefully their quality of air is going to get better. I know there was some issues with it at first, but hopefully it's getting better. And last but not least, we did phase 1 of the deferred maintenance program at Southside Elementary. And if you have a chance to go by and see it, it's amazing. It's like the light came on. It went from the old dingy type light that they had in there to LED light, and it is beautiful. So, and we plan on working on phase 2 this summer. That's what I have for operations. Obviously, you can see we're pretty busy. We got a lot going on. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions for Mr. Walters?
Just one question on the middle school.
Yes, sir.
Those chillers, that for the whole school? 'Cause I know some issues with the gym or something that's been brought up.
Yeah, they've actually installed 2 chillers at the middle school. Yeah, there was some issues, and there was they were limping along. Jimmy told me every day, "Hey, I hope we make it," because it was bad. But they did get the chillers in. We got them installed. They're online, and the quality of air there has been much better since. Yeah, but you're right. There were a lot of issues. We also, this generator, Jimmy told me today, and I didn't realize this. We're going to hook this generator up to the water pump. Is that right? The water pump to keep the water air fuel pump. So when it freezes, our pipes won't burst. The water will keep circulating, so we don't have the same situation we had this winter. So it's very smart. Jimmy's very smart. So.
Jimmy's very smart.
So, any other questions? No. Okay, thank you very much.
It's a lot of work.
Yes.
That's all I put in.
Thank you so
All
much.
these different things.
Yeah, it's a lot going on. So I got a lot of smart people helping me though. So somebody told me to keep them around me. Thank you.
Yeah.
Human Resources Update.
While she's putting that together, I'll give Bonnie my sincere thanks for always being a help to me, even when I'm last minute. So today I have prepared for you a human resources update, and I just can't believe that it has already been a year since I stood before you and gave you an update about so many things in regards to staffing that are occurring across the state, the Commonwealth, and the globe.
Is her microphone on?
I hope to give you a brief update. I would call this more so like a wave top overview, and look forward to the opportunity to give you more details in our future meetings, and of course answer any questions that you may have this evening as well. I will steal a line from Ms. Spires and Mr. Ampey. I will steal a line from Ms. Spires and Mr. Ampey, thank you, who also helped me in many times of need, where she got up here in the beginning and said, you know, that the result of their presentation was a collective effort of the contributions of their team. So I do want to acknowledge my team and Chris, who is here in the audience, and also Kathy and Jessica, who are not here, who helped to provide the information that I'll be sharing with you this evening. So the purpose of this presentation is for me to give you a brief synopsis of the staffing challenges, as well as to explore our current and future plans to address those challenges. We all know that the mission of Dinwiddie County Public Schools is to provide each student the opportunity to become a productive citizen, engaging the entire community in the educational needs of our children. So we feel that we achieve this successfully, not just when they walk in the door for onboarding, but it starts initially with whatever interaction they have with Dinwiddie County Public Schools, whether it be someone they know, whether it be through our application process or them walking into the building. We want to make sure that they have that 5-star experience and that they see us model the core values of excellence, equity, and integrity. Our comprehensive plan, which we did a little bit of tweaking to in regards to priority 3 for exemplary leadership this year, but our plan is simply to strive to be a catalyst in retaining highly engaged and diverse staff who put students first, practice inclusivity, and always add value so that we can form deep roots and reach great heights together. Simply put, we just want to make sure we have the right people in the right place at the right time. Sometimes that's more challenging than others, but we get through it. So in order to kind of understand the history of Dinwiddie County, our culture, and our values, one also has to understand the community of Dinwiddie County as a whole. And I thought it was interesting when I went through and did the research again this year, because there have been some slight changes. But one fact remains the same, that the Dinwiddie community remains as a great place to live, work, and serve. This here provides to you a snapshot based on the National Center for Education Statistics. It shows that I put arrows next to the numbers just to highlight for you the changes that have occurred since this presentation last year. Their data indicates that our population has decreased here in the county. However, the median household income has increased while total households have decreased. So perhaps some people are exiting the community. I'm not 100% sure where that may be driven from. We also have the race and ethnicity presented below as well, whereas you can see the majority of the population is white, with Black or African American coming in second, and third place coming in with Hispanic, Latino, and Asian. I did think it was interesting to note that the households with broadband internet has decreased, which, you know, if I'm being honest, I didn't really believe these numbers last year when they were presented, because we still continue to find students in our county that don't have the proper access to internet at home to be able to continue their education while they're at home and not at school. What is a good and promising thing, however, is that the housing information in regards to apartments or rental living has increased from this time last year. So that is a positive and a ray of hope, because we know that that is a concern of newly hired teachers that come into our area, is being able to find affordable housing. So I took the opportunity to provide the demographics of Dinwiddie County Public Schools. As you can see here on the left, we have race and ethnicity split. The majority of our employees identify as white, and we have a 29% identifying as Black or African American. That 1% that you see there is in the category of non-white. And then we also have a percentage that choose not to identify, but it's less than 1%. Over on your right, I took the opportunity to identify race and gender together, just so you can see how the demographics of our staff is made up. And primarily, we have white female bringing in with 56%, Black female at 23%. I am happy to say that our percentage on Black males has increased this year from last year. And as always, we are always looking to make our workforce more diverse, more inclusive, not just by race, not just by gender, but by culture, by ideas, and by creativity as well. So that is always welcome, and I hope that this continues to change so that it can be ever evolving with the needs of our community. Here is a new slide that I introduced this year. This is total service years by location for all employees. We did recently hire a new employee in maintenance who came to us with a wealth of experience already. So that's why you kind of see their experience kind of jumping up through the roof as far as service years total. But I think what you can see here clearly from the gray bars that are on the left of the green bars, that indicates average service years in the district. So it's safe to say that we have long-standing employees here, and once they get here, they do stay. Looking at specifically teachers, total service years by location, or the average at least. You can also see a comparison here as well. That we do have several schools where their years of service total is almost identical to the service years in district. So that also describes to you that we have a lot of teachers who started their career here in Dinwiddie County, and they have chosen to remain here as well. It's easy to hear someone, go down the line of the history of those that they were related to or connected to that served here in Dinwiddie County. And we see that being perpetuated here in this informational data. As we transition from demographics about Dinwiddie County Public Schools, I want to talk about the challenges that we are facing as a whole across the Commonwealth in regards to education. There's many studies that have been able to prove that there is a decrease of individuals that are entering the teaching profession. The traditional ways of recruiting teachers for positions, such as going to recruiting fairs, is really not the way to be able to attract and retain employees. I am personally a proponent of us being able to grow our own. And I'll be able to talk a little bit later about some things that we're doing to be able to enhance that effort. So as a result of the decrease in individuals entering the teaching profession, it is resulting in us having a lack of fully qualified or fully licensed candidates, which is resulting in us having provisionally licensed teachers, or those that we feel, may be close to meeting the requirements, and we work with them to meet those requirements. It's also been known that some teachers exit the profession due to compensation. I can say that you as a board have always been very supportive to us, as well as our board of supervisors here, in helping us to remain competitive with teacher salaries, as well as being able to move our employees that are on the UPP and other salary scales to be competitive with the market. As we all know, there are barriers to entering the teaching profession. It takes a lot of work. It's not just like, walking into Amazon to be a warehouse worker. There's many hoops that have to be jumped through, having to have a bachelor's degree and many other requirements beyond that, as well as housing in the area. So this slide here, I took the opportunity to just give you a quick snapshot of numbers of unfilled positions here. And I got this information from the Department of Education's website. You may know that over the last couple of years, they have introduced a new report called the Position and Exits Collection, and they've been collecting that data over the years, which is how Virginia is able to get their own data as far as, what is happening in the teacher shortage. So according to the DOE's website, there were over 3,573 unfilled teaching positions from last school year. Looking at the big three, what I like to call the big three, that's Richmond, Henrico, and Chesterfield. They together had 462 positions. Narrowing that down a little bit more, and looking at the schools within our surrounding communities, and I included Prince George, Petersburg, and Dinwiddie. We had a total of 50 positions collectively. I'm happy to report to you today that we make up only 3 of those positions this year. So yes, go ahead, clap your hands, everybody. We're in church. Yes. So that is a big, major accomplishment for us, and not something that's been just obtained by me, but kudos to every assistant principal, and leader here in this room that has helped to be able to attract the talent to fill those vacant positions. So as far as what's happening in Virginia, as we know, there's been some recent changes in leadership, and when I made this presentation last year, there were recent changes in leadership. So I have to say I am uncertain about the future of how things will turn out. But at least as it stands right now, there is an ongoing recruitment and retention advisory committee, which one of our own, Mr. Chuck Moss, is a member of, and there is also a new statewide campaign called Turning the Tide, where the Commonwealth has finally recognized that they must play a role in helping the schools here across the Commonwealth to be able to attract and retain teachers. So lots of marketing materials, a new website has been developed for posting positions, and we look forward to seeing what Turning the Tide may have in store for us in the future. Regarding the continued barriers that we face in regards to teacher turnover, I think, this is just very eye-opening in regards to longevity when it comes to plans that teachers have in staying in the profession. As you can see, the biggest number here on the screen is that they indicate that 41% of all teachers will leave within the first 5 years. So the challenge comes to us is, what can we do to make Dinwiddie a place that they would like to stay? As you can see here, I've listed our current staffing data as of September, the beginning of this month. We currently have 622 employees, 338 of those are teachers, and in that number I included librarians, school counselors, all of our interventionists, all of our specialists in that number. Our average number of service years for teachers is 15 years. I didn't put it here on the slide, but for all employees, the average is about 12 years. So that is still significantly greater than the U.S. average, which I believe is about 4 years of a person staying in with one employer. We also have teachers who are very much educated. Over 40 or about 47% of them have advanced degrees. And we have teachers who are very proud to be here. I say employees as a whole, because that 60% represents all employees who either graduated here or they live here in the county. So it's very apparent that the individuals who choose to work here because they want to be able to give back to the community that has served them. Also, another highlight is that our retention rate remains unchanged from last year. We continue to hold steady at 89%. And also like to add that, these numbers are even with us being challenged with the complexities of the state budget and having to be very lean as well, that we've managed to be able to maintain this retention rate and also provide services to our students. When you look at the critical shortage areas identified by the Department of Education, they have identified about 7 areas that are seen as dire need across the Commonwealth. Those are listed there for you on the left-hand side. On the right side, I've identified the current teaching vacancies that we have at this time. Mathematics at the middle school, reading specialists at the middle school, and we also have 1 English position at the high school. I put an asterisk by the American Sign Language position simply because we do have a long-term substitute in that position that's working towards full licensure, and that candidate should be wrapping that up sometime very soon. So that will soon would not be a vacancy. So in short, that's why I said 3 vacancies total, and it's in 2 out of the 7 critical shortage areas. Now, the area that, is something that we should all be aware of, and I guess I should say is indicative of the statistics I just mentioned previously, is the data I listed below. So we do have 95 of our teachers who are on a probationary contract, meaning that is the annual contract where they can be on that contract for up to 3 years before they're offered a continuing contract. In many instances, those who are on a probationary contract are also a provisionally licensed teacher. There are some instances where a teacher could be on a could be a continuing contract teacher, but also be provisionally licensed. If you recall, during the COVID years, the Department of Education issued extensions on licenses or gave certain 1-year licenses for those that weren't able to fulfill their requirements. So we do have a handful of individuals that meet that criteria as well. In total, 44 of our teachers are either provisionally licensed or they are pending a license being issued. Here, I have a couple of slides just to give you a snapshot of the reasons for why some of our former employees have left DCPS. As you can see, the highest reason is for retirement. That's at 27. And then the second area is for either family or personal reasons. That could be a variety of issues, either due to caring for an ailing parent, their own health, etc. And the other reasons are listed there for you as well. As far as race and ethnicity of those that have exited our school division, we do see white being at about 59 people, and we've had 28 individuals that were identified as Black or African American. Looking at the gender of those exiting, we have over 83% of females that exited the workplace here, with 16% being male. This pie chart here highlights the positions that exited this year. It makes sense that with teachers being almost half, or about half of our staff, almost half of those make up the positions that exited this past school year. We also had several paraprofessionals to resign or to retire. And this year we did have a couple of school nutrition specialists that decided to retire. And so that piece is a little bit bigger than it was last year. However, I can speak to the fact that we have hired several substitutes that are kind of in training to be hired into contracted positions, and also have a career fair that will be dedicated to that group coming up later this month. So forward-looking or forward-thinking in regards to our comprehensive plan, we do have some developments in progress. As always, we want to be able to maintain competitive salaries, and we started this year doing a deep dive into our stipends. I apologize that I'm not here today to be able to tell you what the final recommendation is, but I do hope to be able to provide that to you later this year. We have a committee that is very passionate about those stipends, and we've had many discussions about those positions and how those positions can add value and continue to add value in the school division. So what we would like to do now is just to continue with the current practice for this school year, to give us an opportunity to introduce any new changes before they're fully implemented. We also have some incentives in place that we support and, try to make sure that our employees are aware of. We do have information about the tobacco grant that we'll be sending out soon, as well as bonus incentives, some that are provided from our local budget, some that are provided from the state through the RIPE grant that we received last year. And I hope that we are able to receive those this year as well. We also have grant funding that supports tuition reimbursement, and we are looking and moving towards providing tuition reimbursement for paraprofessionals that may be working towards a bachelor's degree in the teaching profession. As far as alternative programs are concerned, with your approval, we were able to develop a local paraprofessional assessment to help individuals here to stay in the paraprofessional position if they've been unable to pass the state parapro exam. Recently, the Department of Education approved the iTeach program. So that is going to allow many of our provisionally licensed teachers who are at the cusp of expiration to be able to fulfill their licensure requirements within 1 year. So that would be a big win for us. And I believe it's over 30 content areas that iTeach can cover. So it pretty much removes the barriers, as I indicated earlier, that many teachers face. We are also finishing our last year in Virginia State University's I2Teach program. By December of this year, we should have 2 graduates from Virginia State who are currently in the classroom. We have one at Sutherland and one at the middle school. So they will not only be eligible to be a contracted teacher, but they will also be fully licensed. And that program has helped pay their full tuition throughout the program. Most recently, and maybe I saved the best for last, I forgot to put it on the slide, but myself and Mr. Burke George, as well as Ms. Karan Nivens, met last week to discuss how we could help support our students that are in the Teachers for Tomorrow class that are interested in becoming licensed teachers. So we are looking forward to in early 2024 being able to offer offer some letters of intent to our rising students who plan to continue their education in an approved teacher prep program or one that leads to licensure. Very excited about that, and I'm excited to be able to work with Mr. George and Ms. Nivens on that endeavor as well. In closing, I want to remind you that our process this year, we've learned that we must come with a systems thinking approach. And our aim will be to improve our processes and to maintain and attract our talent and improve the efficient use of our resources, our processes, and our management structure. I stand here today knowing that this is an ever-evolving process. So anything that may be done today could change tomorrow. So I embrace and seize the opportunity as it comes along. I thank you for being such an attentive listening audience. And at this time, I would allow you or welcome you to give me any questions you may have.
The amount of information is overwhelming, but wonderful. But thank you. It's something that we need to have in print, and we need to know which direction we're heading in and how come. So,
yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions?
No.
Okay, Madam Chair, I'm gonna
Yes.
slip out.
Ms. Haney has a person in her family who's in need of her assistance. Mr. Haney has some medical issues, and thank you for coming, Ms. Haney. We will carry on in your absence. Thank you, Ms. Branch. Appreciate that. Go right ahead. Thank you.
Good afternoon again.
Afternoon.
I'm coming with some changes we're going to make to the sick leave bank regulations. Mainly what this is for is to offer some additional flexibilities for the members of the sick leave bank who are encountered severe or life-threatening illnesses. Of course, these cases will already be backed up with their FMLA paperwork where they're missing time that's given. And it's for the people that currently under the use of regulations on paragraph 3, you have to have missed 30 consecutive contracted days, or they will waive it with 30 contracted days over a 60-day period. Well, as you know, with treatments for these severe illnesses and debilitating things, you're going to miss over 30 days in a year, but it may not be in a 60-day time period because of the way the treatments work. They're like 2 or 3 days a week, and then they'll skip 2 or 3 weeks, and then they'll do it again. So what we've seen is we're having members that are using the time that they had accumulated. 2 years ago, they may have had it over 100 and some years, 100 some days of sick leave, but as their treatments have gone on, they've used these days and they're depleting all their sick leave, which they have to do to use the sick leave bank, but they're not falling under the regulations of being able to use it. So what we wanted to do is change the paragraph 3 to read, the first 30 consecutive contracted working days of illness or disability will not be covered by the sick leave bank, but must be covered by the employee's accumulated leave or leave without pay. This requirement may be waived in case of debilitating or life-threatening illnesses in which 30 contracted days of absences for the same illness injury, although not consecutive, have occurred over 60 cumulative contracted days. This would help these ones that have used their sick leave up over the time, be a little bit more financial, so they won't have that worry along with their illness. And we just wanted your blessing on this change. It's a regulation that doesn't need a vote.
Does not need a vote.
It does not.
I think I appreciate the fact that we've addressed that, because we know we have several teachers that are in that boat, and they're long-term good teachers, and we need to support them any way that we can.
You need a motion?
This is more of an
Just some
information to let y'all
regulation,
know.
just for information.
Have your book. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Policy GBEA. Ms. Branch?
Yes, ma'am. I have it here.
All of these are first readings.
Yes.
Okay.
First read. Just give me just one moment. My notes in front of me. So what I provided in front of you is our current policy. On the first page is our current policy that we currently have that's being practiced for GBEA, unlawful manufacture, distribution, dispensing, possession, or use of a controlled substance. My reason for standing before you today is that in our policy review, Dr. Weston has encouraged us to go through policies that apply to our departments and see what may need to be revised. And as we were doing a review of our policies, we did see that the current policy that we have in place does need to be updated to be able to provide further details and clarity in regards to the school division's process for drug and alcohol testing concerning operators of commercial motor vehicles. So I do suspect that I will be back before you again to add any additional revisions that need to be made in regards to those that are non-CDL holders or non-driving staff. But today, since the meat, so to speak, of the updates does pertain to CDL drivers, I wanted to be able to bring this before your attention today as a first read. The highlights or administrative considerations is that the current policy we have in place does not explain fully our process for testing and resources that can be provided to those who may meet the requirements for a substance abuse professional. It also outlines the details on what qualifies as being under the limit, over the limit, and provides Dr. Weston the opportunity to make recommendations to the board in regards to those that we may need to recommend for additional substance abuse assistance. As we have indicate, in many things, we value the work of our employees, and we strive to create a caring culture for our employees. And we understand that sometimes life may happen to us in a way that we may not expect. So when those things happen, we want to be able to make the resources available to our employees for them to partake in. But we also want to ensure that the safety and welfare of our staff and students is maintained. So we feel that the recommendations provided in this policy for drivers of commercial motor vehicles will do that. Just so you know, I did have a meeting with Mr. Walters and Mr. Tucker to review the policy as well, and they provided input. And so this is the final document that I present before you today. So my recommendation is that the existing policy would remain in place, which is more of a blanket, so to speak, policy, and then we'd be able to attach the policy for the CDL drivers as an addendum within board docs. So, again, this is just a first read, so I'm not asking for approval today, but if you do have any questions, I'm willing to answer them at this time.
Any questions from the group? No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And these tobacco products, is that yours too? The next one?
No.
Okay.
But I am here for her to help her in whatever way I can.
Good evening. It is my pleasure this evening to bring before you two regulation updates. So the first one, though it's GBECR, It's actually the same regulations for two other policies. One is about staff, one's about students, and one pertains to community relations. So with the regulations, it really all remains the same, except for one piece that has been added at the very end, which is about resources for staff and students. So if there are staff or students having challenges with tobacco use, nicotine use, basically this part of the regulation states that we will refer them to resources. So I can say for students, our social workers have developed a resource guide last year that is posted on our website, that's available, and it offers many resources, but one of them is about substance abuse. Secondly, for students that we find that may be struggling with this, we do offer the Another Chance program through District 19, so we can refer students to that. We pay a small fee for that, but students complete 6 sessions, 2 of which parents have to attend with them. So those are the resources we offer to students. And then through Human Resources, if staff are struggling as well with those issues, there are resources that can be offered. So that's the only update to that regulation. Any questions about that? Okay.
Thank you.
The second regulation is actually a new regulation for JGE. So this policy is about student suspension and expulsion. We needed to have procedures. So we already had the practice in place, but we needed to have it documented in writing as a regulation or a procedure. So basically, for suspensions, this just states, one, that administrators will notify parents or guardians in writing of the offense and the disciplinary action within 24 hours. So this is already being done. There is a suspension letter. Administrators always call parents and make them aware as well. But the in writing piece is through the suspension letter that we have. Any student that is suspended is allowed to make up work. So that is the second part of that first piece. So normally if there is a short-term suspension, teachers provide work when they come back. If it's a secondary student, sometimes that work can be done through Canvas while they're out. The next part is about long-term suspensions and expulsions. So again, if a student is long-term suspended or expelled, they can still be allowed to make up missed work. Students in grades 6 through 12 may be eligible for the RISE program or may be eligible to complete missed work through other online virtual platforms. So we are going to take out the specific platforms that are listed there, Admentum and Canvas, and just say a variety of online or virtual learning platforms. Students who are expelled may be offered the opportunity to learn virtually through an approved virtual platform. Again, we're going to take out the specific platform that's listed there. But when a student is expelled, we have recently been offering virtual learning for them in some situations. The last part is about appeal procedures, and really that is outlined in our code of conduct, which is also linked under parent links on our website. Parents can translate that code of conduct into their home language if English is not their home language. So that is available on the website, those specific procedures. Any questions about the regulation that is presented for suspensions and expulsions? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
And the last thing we have, Ms. Pittman, would just be the remaining policies for our first read that have been provided to each of you. You'll be able to see in there what we're recommending that would be taken out of the policy, as well as any edits to each policy. We'll just ask that you take that with you and let me know if you have any questions.
And that's the big fat packet.
That's the big,
that you
yes,
have.
for your evening.
For your nightly reading pleasure.
Yes.
Thank you. Citizens' comments. Do we have anybody signed up? No. Our board member comments. Start down here with you, Mr. Sneff.
Just hope everyone's having a smooth start to this new school year. Sounds like it's going pretty well from what I've gathered. Thanks for all the updates. Everybody's provided them there. Sure appreciate that. congratulations to the gifted for their award. Definitely, Ms. Pittman's done a wonderful job at Encompass Pathways. Good to have excellent employees with his team as well. And just hope everybody enjoys, and good luck to our football team this upcoming Friday.
This is going to be a tough one this coming Friday. Come down to you, Ms. Merritt.
Everything that Jay said. But I do want to welcome back Jonathan and welcome Imani. Is that your mom? Hi, Mom. I just want you all to know that I actually knew your dad. And he was a wonderful role model in the community. And I'm glad to know you. And you?
Ms. Merritt?
Yes,
So,
I think I
Benjamin?
made my comments as we went along, but thank you so much for all you do. Thank you for coming back this year to put your feet in and do some more hard work, because as Mr. Pittman has shown us, even from what he does from his end, we are getting results, and that's what counts. When you see your students out in the community and they mention the teachers that had helped them to get this far, it makes me feel good, and I love to tell it. So thank you so much, and have a great year.
And I also like to welcome our two student members, and hopefully that as you go through the year, if issues come up or thoughts that you have that you would like for us to listen to or discuss, please reach out to us. Okay, because we can't read your mind. Student comments.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for having me again on the school board as a student representative. I just want to say thank you for everybody coming out and coming to school board meetings, seeing what we can accomplish in our community. And it's good seeing all the changes that are occurring, you know, whether it's the infrastructure or new technology systems or everything that's happening through the county. You know, it's a big difference from when I started in the county, so it's good to see for me.
Imani?
Well, I just wanted to start by saying hello, and it's very different being on this side of things. But I am very excited. I love hearing about the new changes, the updates. I loved hearing about the gifted recognition, the Encompass changes, the DARE plan, technology. I love hearing about all of this new stuff. So I'm very honored and excited about being here and hearing ideas and bringing ideas to the table. I'm really excited to get to know each and every one of you, and yeah. That's all I wanna say.
Thank you. Dr. Weston?
I would just like to start by saying I did have the opportunity to participate in Jonathan's, when he was on the podcast. He did a fabulous job talking about his work here and about his work on the school board. And he talked a lot about, you know, people working together, and when people come together, you can accomplish anything. So you talked about that a lot, and I really appreciated that. Moni, she was there at the when we had our opening for the staff, and we put her on the spot because we asked a question and handed her the microphone. I think I was actually presenting, so I handed her the microphone, and boy, did she give us an answer, and so much so that I could have probably just dropped it and we'd be done for the rest of the day. She did a very nice job answering that, so I just know that this is going to be an amazing year. We do have a meeting with Mr. Garnes coming up to talk about the student advisory and the projects that you all will lead at the high school. So I'm very excited to hear his thoughts and your thoughts about, you know, what that's going to look like for the upcoming school year. I also would like to just say how lucky are we to have the people that we have that work here. From everything you heard tonight, we just really are very fortunate, very blessed to have the people that work in Dinwiddie County Public Schools. I know that I'm grateful every single day. This Thursday is our first family university night at the high school, and so I'm looking forward to that. I appreciate the work of Dr. Clay and her team, and very much looking forward to that. And just we just have a lot of exciting things planned, and look forward to working with the board on the 26th of September talking in more detail about the work that we have planned and to hear your vision for the school system and how we can bring that to life.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? No. If not, we will entertain a motion for adjournment.
Madam Chair, I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? The motion carries, and thank you all for not only the work that you do, but for being here with us tonight. Thank you.